Syntax and sentence, two different terms but they are related. Basically, the syntax is the study of the sentence structures. Something that is very important to mention is that the syntax is a part of the grammar of every language, and we can define syntax like a branch of linguistics that specifically study the way sentences are structured and each of the parts they contain. Also, it explains how words and phrases are arranged to form correct sentences. Here we have one example. The sentence said, "He has what his father had," and the other one said, "His father has what he had." So as we can see, we have two sentences that the order of the words are different. So in the case of syntax, it's possible to have two sentences with exact words but two different meanings because the subject change. A sentence according to syntax may not make sense, but grammatically it does. A very good question is syntax and grammar are the same? So firstly, I'm going to define the terms syntax and grammar. So the word syntax means put together or in order. And the word grammar is defined as the art of words or letters. So putting them together, I will say art and how it is organized. These two terms that I already mentioned can complement each other, but they also have many differences, such as the first one, it can be that syntax is the study basically in rules and structures of the sentences, right? And the grammar is the study of the set of rules. And on the other hand, we have grammar is present in daily use, and on the contrary, syntax is not so common.
What is constituency? It's a group of words that function together as a unit. It's the most important and basic notion in syntactic theory. Also, they can be made up of words, phrase, and even entire clause, but the most relevant are the phrase. It is a grammatical unit. Remember, the single words are constituents. Complete sentences are constituents. Any sequence of words which can be functionally replaced by a single word must be a constituent. In syntax, constituency is easily identified by a series of possible tests. Among them, we can replacement or change the phrase for a pronoun, thus working as a single unit. For example, we can have here, the good man drinks the water. It could be when you change the nouns or the pronouns, he drink it. It means that the both word man and the water are constituents. What about the constituency text? It is really important because it's a diagnostic used to identify the conjecture of sentence. Then we have here the most common text. Stand alone is a group of words can stand alone in the response to a question. Then we have the substitution. You can replace or change the phrase with another phrase at the same time, right? Then we have move as a unit. It's a group of words can move together. It is a constituent. Then we have clefing. The clefing text is very important because it involves placing a group of words in the phrase. We provide clause to give more emphasis in your sentences. Then we have the deletion. It's a process of removing one or more constituents of a sentence. We have here one example for you understood more better. Another important point that I consider very relevant when you talk about syntax are the parts of the speech, because when you create words, sentences, you need recognize the different structure, units, and phonology, morphology, and logical, because all the things are very important. So in the part of the sentence we found open class and closed class that I consider really important when you need create your diagrams in a syntax, because you need recognize nouns, adjectives, pronouns, adverbs, and then in closed class you recognize determination, preposition, conjunction. All the aspects, the part of the speech are very important when you create your uh, excellent diagram, and you provide a good explanation about the branches of syntax.
Syntactic rules. In the case of the English language, there are some specific rules that we must follow in order to create proper syntax. And these ones are the ones that help us to make sense within the information that we convey. We use tree diagram representations, just as the one that we have here, in order to represent the internal construction of every sentence that we use in the English language. Now, let's see the most common syntactical rules that we have. The SVO pattern, which stands for subject, verb, object. This is the most common syntactic structure in English. However, we can add even more lexical categories through our sentences and make them even more interesting. But this is the basis of your syntactical constructions. So if your stream of words do not follow the SVO pattern, then there's no syntax, and that cannot be considered a sentence. So make sure that in your constructions you follow this basic pattern to make syntax proper usage. So, as it has been stated before, not all constructions can be considered syntactical constructions. So for example, if we say books many, he sing, the president gave his agree, and I go school, are not to be considered syntactical constructions. Do you think that these are proper constructions? So let's see how syntactic devices help us to make them correct. So thanks to syntax study, we can definitely improve our stream of words in order to have them make sense. So we say many books, he sings, the president gave his agreement, and I go to school, which is definitely improves syntactical constructions correctly. So that is why it is important to study syntax, and that is what we have seen through this video. So thank you so much for watching.